The first man to reject him was his father, Joseph. I can tell about how Jesus was. And rightfully so, I don't blame Joseph. I would have been maybe harsher. You are engaged to be married to somebody, then the next thing they come home and they're pregnant. And they're telling you about the Holy Ghost. How many of you here would have celebrated that and said, yes, the Holy Ghost has done it for me. You know, I'm pregnant for you. So you go like, pregnant for me? Who did it? Then she says, the Holy Ghost. Now, Joseph was rational. Joseph was normal. I don't think there's any man sitting here who would have acted differently from Joseph. So he was doing the right thing by saying, no, Aksadikena. Now, the history of Jesus, together with Joseph, as Jesus being the son, Joseph being the stepfather, basically, because his real father was the Holy Ghost. So you could imagine how the Bible, unfortunately, I've said, you know, so many missing spaces, gaps in the Bible. You should actually be a thinker when you read the Bible. Especially the events that are mentioned, like, you know, this case study, the life of Jesus and Joseph, and how you would have treated a child in your own family whose father was the Holy Ghost. And then all of a sudden the sister is pregnant and the father is the Holy Ghost, and you're trying to do the right thing by not wanting to expose it to shame, or privately I'll cut off the engagement, and God forces you to go on with the marriage. Because that's the situation that Joseph has reached up properly, like doing a crime scene investigation. He was forced into the relationship. Joseph was doing the right thing by saying, let me just really, look, I don't want to expose you, but I just want to quit. And God says, you're not quitting. You're going to stay. How would you treat the child? Now, no wonder I said, you know what, I said, no wonder when Jesus was 12 and they went for a census, conveniently so, Joseph forgot the kid. You're just excited, hurry. Let's just keep going. And it says it took 3 days to recognize that he wasn't with them. How do you forget the only child in the family at that particular moment? Not unless you were Joseph and you were saying good riddance. You get the point? Now, Jesus grew up under the conditions that I believe, I would imagine the relationship between Jesus and Joseph was not as rosy as one expected to be. It was rough, nyana. And thank God for the mother Mary, how the Holy Ghost, this whole thing. Then she pondered these things in her heart. She treasured them in her heart. So Mary played a very important role in the upbringing of Jesus. And I don't think Joseph did anything more. Joseph appears, as a matter of fact, about twice in the whole thing. He appears once when Anapia Jesus. Second time he appears, and the third time, Joseph. He died, probably. And then the next level, Jesus 30 or so. Then Joseph had made another 5 kids after Jesus. Jesus had 5 brothers and sisters by 5. So he made sure that this time he makes 5 of his own. No Holy Ghost interference this time. You see that? So he managed to have 5 more kids. Then they grew up, and Joseph by that time was not in the picture. And one day he is trying to preach Kokire King. And then Asha comes and says, your mother and your brothers are waiting outside. They want to talk to you. Now, you know, for some reason he was being displayed as this man who was not like useful in his own family. Because rightfully so, as the firstborn of the family, in Joseph his own business, carpentry. When Joseph died, Jesus was supposed to be taking over the father's business. Instead of him doing that, Morut, he goes out, multiplies bread, and forgets his mother and sister, his sisters and brothers go high. It would actually raise a concern. At a later stage, Mary herself stopped going to church. Now, Jesus was this black, the family just thought he was useless, totally useless. That's the thought of the family. How they treated him. They thought he wasn't useful. Because, all right, your husband has just died. You've got 5 kids to feed. The firstborn is making fish, and free bread for Batu. And there's nothing home. Won't you go to church and I'm wondering what would have happened if Jesus had gone outside to Mary. I wonder what Mary was going to say. Thank God we don't know what is about it. That we leave that to imagination. Those renting fill in the missing spaces. I would imagine Mary saying, "Fine."